Oh, hello, CQ. CQ. Yeah, CQ, the Old Friends Net. Time for the Thursday edition of the Old Friends Get Together. This is W4MEC, your net control for today. The Old Friends Net meets 3 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m., Sundays at 5 p.m. The frequency is always the same, 3715. The mode is always the same, amplitude modulation only, even though we're focused on restoring and running vintage gear. Anybody that can generate an AM signal is welcome to join. Let's see, this is a roundtable style net, so I'll take check-ins a couple times throughout the net and make sure everybody's got a seat at the table. It's a great place to sell gear or look for something, find something you're looking for, or information, whatever. So I expect a short net this morning. We'll find out. So if you'd like to participate, please give W4MEC a call. Call now.
Good morning, Charlie. WA4LLR.
N4LQ. WB4ARK.
K4JAL.
K4GN. Okay, I got a double there with Buddy. We'll figure that out. So far I got Dave, WA4LLR, Steve N4LQ, Buddy, WB4ARK, a doubling station, Jimmy, K4JAL, George, K4GDN. So who did I miss?
That was probably me doubling with Buddy, K4GDN.
Okay, we'll put you back in that hole then, because I got a gap. Okay. Any other stations like to join us? Come now. All right, again, our short list is LLR, LQ, ARK, GDN, JAL. So, good morning, fellas, and I forgot to look at the temperature, but it's cool outside and overcast. And I don't know how much rain we got because my wife emptied the rain gauge yesterday and she didn't tell me what was in it, so so we did get some real rain. Yeah, yesterday a little bit, and of course the day before. So, let's find out how we're doing. Dave, WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
All right. W4MEC and the old friends, WA4LLR, good morning to everybody. We've got mostly cloudy and 60 degrees up here in the eastern jungles of Yancey County. Everybody is sounding pretty good. George is a little weak today, but most of the signals are pretty strong. Short list this morning, but I guess a lot of folks are getting ready to go down towards the Golden Corral. Running the Viking 500 this morning, receiving on the 183D, and not a whole lot going on. Finally was able to get the yard mowed yesterday, got a break in the rain, so I'm very happy about that. So Steve, here it comes, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
All right, WA4LLR in the group. It's N4LQ. All right, well, it's 66 here in Shelby, or near Shelby. I really don't live in Shelby. Fortunately, I don't. And I didn't know it, but the tax rate is almost double what it is in the county. We're in Cleveland County, the cheap part of the area. So, boy, I tell you what, the tax rate per $100 on your property is 0.40 something here in Cleveland County, and in Shelby they add 4.5% on top of that, so they really just about double it, and you don't get a thing for it. Anyway, I'm running the Johnson Challenger and driving the AL82 and the 75A4 receiver this morning. So, Dave, you're sounding good this morning on your Johnson 500. Over to Buddy, WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Okay, Steve, got a very good signal into Lake Wylie this morning. Temperature here is 68 degrees. And we have had plenty of rain. The day before yesterday, we had 2.7 inches. Yesterday was 3.3, and today was 0.3. So we're tapering off a little bit. And we have gotten the grass mowed beforehand, so we're in good shape there. And it was a challenge because it was spitting rain on us the whole time, but we got it in without any problems. So let's see, over to George, K4GDN, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, any old friends, K4GDN. I'm running an aircraft station this morning, the H232B. Feed about 7 watts to the homebrew 811's putting out about 125 watts. And we're sitting on the SX100. It's foggy and overcast. We got a good bit of rain last evening, about 8 o'clock. We had quite a downpour. But during the day it was pretty nice. I even got out and rode the motorcycle, so condition here this morning. I've got a static pop that comes in about every second and a half, right where I go out. It's coming along the antenna. Any carrier will kill it, so I can just turn the band switch on the Johnson 2 off 80 meters, and that kills it too, so it's coming in on the antenna. I don't remember having it the last time I was on. Maybe it's something to do around the rain. But anyway, that's what's going on in Myrtle Beach down here today. Everybody's coming in for a while. A little bit of QSB on Charlie, but other than that, I'm copying everybody just fine. So what is coming to you, Jimmy? K4JAL in the group, KI4GDN.
K4.
Hey, Jimmy, your turn.
K4JAL. I got part of George's signal. He may be getting part of mine. He was about S7 there for a while, and then he dropped out. That's the way life goes. Looks like it's going to be a nice day up here. I've enjoyed this cool weather. I don't know how much more of this we'll get. One of you weather gurus could probably comment on that. Hope it holds out. Back over to you, Charlie, W4MEC, K4JAL.
Okay, Jimmy, K4JAL in the group. It's W4MEC. Any further check-ins that would like to join us? Come now. No, nothing heard. W4MEC, any old friends? Well, I hope this isn't a trend. The Tuesdays and Thursdays have been very light. Let's hope it's just summertime here. I don't know what happened last Tuesday. I missed that, but it's been running, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, yeah, well. Let's see. Real good copy all around. George did a drop on me. Someone might tell me if I heard him say 73 on that. Did he check out? Because he was doing okay, and then he dropped out. So, well, let's see. Well, we'll see a lot of you folks at the lunch there, so I got to get a hold of Carl, make sure he's going. And let's see, if anybody wants to buy a Johnson Matchbox, I can bring that. And I did pretty good at the Hamfest, selling lots of odds and ends, but the Matchbox didn't go. But that's all right. I did sell a 2040 tuner. That's the Heath Kit, 1 kilowatt or whatever, 2 kilowatt model. It doesn't have any meters in it, so, or switches. It's just a basic tuner, along with other junk. Some of it being truly junk, so it's lucky to sell it. What else is going on here? I'm going to bring Boone back his Drake L75 after replacing all the caps in there and putting it back together correctly in this time. I checked it out last night and found the darn push-button switches were a little bit dirty, and somewhat concerned about the cleaning of those because the only holes in them was just along the side of them. There was 4 little tiny holes. And I said, what the heck, let me try the dirtiest switch and see if it'll do anything. And gave it a shot of cleaner there that was safe for plastic, and it seemed to make a great difference. I was setting the plate and calibrating the plate and grid current meters, and I would set the setting, and then I'd push on the switch. I get a totally different setting, sometimes high, sometimes low. So I said, well, that isn't very good. So thankfully, cleaning the switches, I started getting consistent readings on the meters when I set the calibration. So I think that'll help them a little bit there. So, okie dokie, let's go around and see if Dave's got any events of the day for us. WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, WA4LLR. Well, I did. And my daughter called. She's down in Pitt County doing some training, and the granddaughter's staying with us, and I had to hand my phone to my granddaughter who's upstairs, and I didn't have the computer on. I was using the phone, so it all went away. The one thing I do remember is the first picture of the Earth made by satellite was on this day in 1959, if I remember correctly. And this was Matahari's birthday and a few other odds and ends. Invasion of Guadalcanal and so on and so forth. But my specifics have gone upstairs. Anyway, space weather I do have. Sunspot count's 154, solar flux index is 158, and the K is 1.33. We do have a incoming CME that will be here in the next day or so, they say. And we've had several M-class flares in the last 24 hours, so got quite a bit of band noise this morning. Yesterday was finally able to get out and do some work. Got the yard mowed, got a water heater, tankless water heater descaled at the church. Did a few more odds and ends, which I had been putting off due to rain, and more rain. Steve, the Challenger sounds good, buddy. I'm glad you're getting a break. I think you said you had 3.3 inches yesterday, and inch and a half or so the day before that. So the rain has mainly, the heavy rain has stayed south and east of us. We've just been in the edge where it's just been a kind of a constant mist and kept everything damp. But that's pretty much the situation here. Anyway, I don't think George said 7.3. He came up on that transmission to me, so I think he's still in here. I am going to bow out on this one. I've got a few things I need to do before I point the nose south and head down towards the Golden Corral. So, Charlie, thanks for calling it. And I'll say 7.3, God bless, and hope to see everybody here in a couple of hours. So, Steve, carry on. I guess the Chicken Liver King is en route to your place. We hope to see you guys shortly. N4LQ, WA4LR 73.
Yeah, he gets here about 10 o'clock. And he's got chicken liver on his mind, I'm sure. WA4LLR, N4LQ. Well, 73's all ready, but I realize you got a long trip you got to get ready for. And we'll leave here about 10:15, I guess, something like that, and get to Spartanburg ready for the festivities. Well, let's see. I've been overrun by deer around here. It's really, I never thought I'd complain because I enjoy seeing them, but they got my front yard just covered with deer manure, and it's you can't hardly walk out there, and they graze on my grass, and you know, big ones and little ones and baby deer, and they're just everywhere around here. You can't hardly drive down the road without braking, for one. Speaking of brakes, the truck brakes are, I don't know what's going on with my brakes, but on that big truck, they got to where they were kind of pulsating, which usually is just a matter of turning the drums, and so I took it in, and they had trouble turning them for some reason. I don't think the guy knew what he was doing, but they got them turned, and the next day I got it back, and they had kind of a scraping sound when I applied the brakes, and kind of a swishing sound. And so I took them back again, and they said, oh, we had to oil there was some kind of rods or something in there, and now they're doing it again, even worse. So I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. I'll go ahead and drive it to Spartanburg, but the thing has only got 50,000 miles, and I think it's just a matter of whoever's doing the work doesn't really know what they're doing or something. Anyway, Charlie, okay on the matchbox you've got for sale? I've got a KW matchbox here that I don't use. I've used it a few times. The problem is some bands are just not usable, like especially it's like 30 meters and 60 meters, and I like to use all the bands, so it's kind of limiting. And the other thing is, of course, you got to deal with it every time. And I like to hop around the bands, so I use this MFJ auto tuner, and it works real good for all the bands. And I'm using it with the loop antenna, so I can hop around the bands pretty quick. And okay on cleaning the switches in the L7. That's pretty interesting. Sometimes I wonder how these switches get dirty. I had a Collins R388 receiver, and the pots were all noisy and intermittent, and I started to figure out how to clean them, and there's no holes at all. Absolutely airtight. And I thought, how in the world does this thing get dirty? So I took my drill and drilled a tiny hole in the back, and just filled it up with WD-40 and turned it for a while, let it drain out, and that took care of it. So there you go. Over to Buddy, WB4ARK, the N4LQ.
WB4ARK, okay, Steve. So, I don't think it's so much dirt, it's tarnish that builds up on some of these silver-plated contacts, mostly from people who smoke. There's a big problem if you get a used unit that someone has had in a smoke-filled room. It's a hassle. And some of the tarnish on these silver contacts is pretty bad. So I think deoxit is the best thing to use. Let's stay away from WD-40. The rain here actually was 2.7 inches before yesterday instead of an inch and a half. But I guess Dave has already left. Let's see what else we got. The interesting thing is we've got a solar wind or solar storm coming. I wonder how much disruption we're going to have in the band. And as many tuners as John has, Steve, seems like you should be able to work out a deal with him. He's got more than the law should allow. I guess you can only use one at a time, of course, and with all the ones that he's got plenty of choices to make, which is ones to connect into the circuits. But I guess we'll say 73 at this point, and make this a short net. So over to George. K4GDN, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK and the old friends, K4GDN, yeah. And talking about cleaning contacts, Deox is really a good one, but I still have some Cramaline from 1O's in the Navy, and there was one guy that worked with the electronics, was a civilian contractor, and I think he was with General Dynamics, I'm not sure who, but he did the VHF and UHF repairs, and Cramaline was his basic. I still have it for Cramaline. And there is some QSB on the band. I'm copying everybody fairly well, with the exception of Jimmy, but the QSB is getting it's overlooked to some extent, but Jimmy's the only one I'm really having a problem with. Let's see, anything else? There's not much else going on here. Obviously, I won't make the lunch today. But I do plan on being up to Shelby. And speaking of tuners, I've got 2 of each of the matchboxes, and I've got 2 of the Tech tuners. I'm pretty well they're pretty well dedicated to equipment as opposed to antennas. Although the big thing about the Johnson is the OEM 160 features that I really miss that the Tech tuners have. And the Tech tuners do a pretty good job if you don't mind doing the bundle tools. That's what it is. I try to keep records on that. So with that, I'm going to say 73 and listen to the end. Charlie, thanks for calling in. Sorry I'm not going to make the lunch today, but hopefully I'll see folks at Shelby. I hope to be up there for that. So Jimmy, if you can hear me, it's coming to you. K4JAL in the group, K4GDN. 73, guys.
Well, I think he quit. K4GR. Well, good grief. K4GDN, K4JAL. I'm having a hard time saying call signs today, so I guess I'll quit. Everybody's going to Spartanburg but me. So everybody enjoy yourselves and talk to you Sunday. Back to you, Charlie. W4MEC, K4JAL, 73.
Okay, Jimmy, K4JAL and the group, W4MEC. Let me check. Anybody like to join us? Well, that leaves 2 of us, Steve and me. 7-3, fellas, thanks for checking in this morning. If you're making the trip down to Spartanburg, be safe. Let's see, did I say this is W4MEC? Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, those switches, like Buddy mentioned, is probably more tarnished than anything else. But you got to get in there to clean them. And apparently, the funny thing is, once you start, you got to keep doing it. So I expect these switches to go bad eventually. And he'll need to do something again. But at least for once, the meters are calibrated. Let's see, taxes. Yeah, I never understood the county city property tax and what the big deal is. Of course, they do that here, and of course, we're out of the city limits, thank God. But all I see them getting, other than me, is garbage service, and it ain't worth it for that. I got to pay for my own garbage service or take it to the dump myself. But in the city, they got garbage service. They also plow the roads a little bit better than they do in the county when it's snowy. And what else have they got there? I just don't know. And it's almost a ripoff. That seems quite a bit, almost double. I've heard that. I don't think Hendersonville's that bad. But I think you also get a break on the county taxes when you're inside the city limits. You don't pay full county taxes along with your full city taxes. So there is a trade-off there somehow. So just glad I don't have to do it, and glad that I don't hear anything about consolidation or them extending the county lines. But it's funny, there's two places in Hendersonville. The bowling alley out on Asheville Highway, Highway 25, wanted to sell beer and wine, but the county is still dry, so they couldn't. So they made a special, city limit that extends all the way down Highway 25, either side maybe 5 feet, and then catches the bowling alley. So technically, the bowling alley is inside the city limits. It's funny when you look at it on the map, the way that it's drawn there. It just has this corridor going down there with a bowling alley at the end. And they also did that on another road too, but I can't think of what it is. They wanted to get a restaurant that wanted to sell beer and wine, and they stuck it in the county too. It's got a corridor reaching out to it. But the county's still dry, amazingly so. Well, Steve, I'll let you say your 73s, and then we'll shut her down. N4LQ in the group, N4LQ and me, W4MEC.
Oh, okay. Did Buddy sign out? I thought he was still here.
No, he said 73.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it sounds like they gerrymandered your alcohol. Yeah, they do that, and I don't think it makes any difference in Shelby versus Cleveland County, but I don't know if any regulations along that line. They do get garbage service as part of their tax, but that's just a minor cost. I pay a company, you just hire who you want, and they come out and pick it up with a big truck, no problem. The only thing, I think they pick up leaves, and you go through the city, you'll see people pile leaves up along the side of the road, and the city comes along and picks them up. That's kind of a bonus. But for, we're talking thousands of dollars difference. There's a website that you pay your taxes on, Cleveland County Tax.org or something like that, gov, and you just bring that website up and you just put in last name or address or whatever you want, and it finds the tax bill. So I sat here and looked at a bunch of other people's tax bills around the county and the city to see who was who, and that's how I found this out. I didn't realize that I could just go down the street here into the city and the taxes would just be huge compared to what I'm paying. So glad for that. Well, I guess I'm not talking to anybody except you, Charlie. So we'll see you down there. Hope you can rustle Carl up and bring him down. 73 W4MEC N4LQ.
Okay, Steve, real good. Yeah, I did that years ago on the GIS for the Hendersonville when I was arguing with my county taxes just seemed to be too high. So no matter what letter I wrote, made no difference until I found GIS and I started looking at everybody else's taxes. I couldn't believe how much higher mine were than everybody else. And so all I did was I put down examples of people down the road here or near me, and the type of house they lived in. You know, I got a little old wood frame house here. You know, nothing special. And I put that down, and people with brick houses and stuff like that, you know, I did comparisons and said, this is how much they pay, this is how much I pay. And it actually lowered my taxes amazingly. That lowered my assessment. And people get upset about that. You know, they say, why would you want to lower your assessments? Because I don't want to pay the taxes. But now it doesn't make any difference. They reset everybody several years ago. So, but I had 20 or so years before they decided they wanted to jack everybody up. So, so I saved a few bucks now. So anyway, we'll see you at the lunch, and have a safe trip. And I hope John makes it there. 7-3. We'll talk to you on later on. N4LQ and nobody else. W4 MEC. Bye bye.
Yeah, see you later.